So the British Boxing Board of Control has ordered English cruiserweight champion John Hedges to fight Pat Brown. And of course, both guys are campaigning at cruiserweight. Both guys are unbeaten. John Hedges just recently defended his English cruiserweight championship in a fight that was quite close, and arguably he may have lost it. I forget who his last opponent was, but it was at the O2 Indigo. It was at one of those low-key matchroom cards. But Pat Brown, in my opinion, is the closest thing to a next up guy at cruiserweight we have. He's big, he's fast, he's strong, he's powerful, he's a crisp puncher. Overall, I do think he's a better boxer than John Hedges. Even though John Hedges has got an interesting style, I think he's a southpaw, and he fights like a slick sort of southpaw, but I don't think he's quite got the minerals to beat someone like Pat Brown, especially once someone like Pat Brown puts it on him. I struggle to see John Hedges being able to actually keep the pace for a 10-round or a 12-round fight against the likes of Pat Brown, and John Hedges definitely hasn't got the power to get him out of there early. So, you know, it's an upward battle for John Hedges. I don't think he's got a path to victory for this. I think he's pretty much in and around his level. He seemed to have a good support at his last fight at the Indigo. He's probably one that can shift a decent amount of tickets. And like I said, he has got a decent style. He's a southpaw. He's a slick southpaw, and could give some guys trouble. But I don't see John Hedges being able to operate at world level. I don't really even see him being able to operate at sort of fringe world level, even European level. Because you look at the likes of Vidal Riley. Like, Vidal Riley would probably beat him. Vidal Riley's more athletic, and should be able to create a game plan that can, nullify John Hedges. But I do think if this fight does get made for the English or British Cruiserweight Championship, it should be a relatively easy win for Pat Brown. Like, he's a big puncher, he's crisp, he puts his hands together nicely, puts combinations together nicely. He's a good boxer. I don't think Pat Brown himself is at world level yet. Could he reach world level? Yes. He's a former Olympian, represented Team GB, so he's capable of reaching that next level, in my opinion. But will Pat Brown be mixing it with the likes of Jar Pataya, Zerdo, the guys at the top of the division? I don't think so. But we'll see how far he can go. He's still got some way to improve. He's not a seasoned veteran. It's not like the Pat Brown we see today is going to be like the Pat Brown we see for the rest of his career. So, there is room for him to grow. There's time for him to grow. And of course, if he's fighting the likes of John Hedges, he's still quite away from those world level fights. So he could have another 4, 5, maybe even 6 fights before he's fighting at world level. And by that time, we could be looking at a guy who's, radically improved, changed his style even, and, giving guys different looks. Maybe there is a future where we could see the likes of Pat Brown giving world cruiserweights, a run for their money. But yeah, if the fight against John Hedges gets made, no date has been confirmed yet. It's been rumoured that the BBBofC are going to order this fight. If it gets ordered and if it gets confirmed, then I'll make another video about it. But I do think this would be a somewhat easy win for Pat Brown. I think he's too fast, too powerful, and I think he's going to be able to find John Hedges' chin pretty quickly. And John Hedges doesn't got the power to keep Pat Brown off of him, and certainly hasn't got the power to stop Pat Brown either. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this fight in the comments below. Do you think this fight will get made? And if it does get made, who do you think will win it? Another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.